All right, what is up? My name is Jake, and this is Bottom Line. And today we get into our very first worth it or worthless video. It's part of this new series I came up with, and today we're talking about not arguably, the most popular green supplement of all time, AG1 by Athletic Greens. Let's dive right into it. Why is it the best-selling green supplement of all time? Well, because they paid everybody to promote it. Think of how many ads that you have seen about AG1 from podcasts. The list is insane. Let's talk about the cost. Expensive. It's really expensive. Why? Because they have to pay everybody to promote the product. In that way, the business model is very similar to network marketing. We'll get into network marketing at some point. It's inevitable because network marketing is a big part of the dietary supplement industry. But today we're focusing on AG1 by Athletic Greens. A couple things I'd like to call out that while they're not a direct review of the product, I think are important to know. Number one, the founder stepped down as CEO last year. Why? Well, because it became public that he was convicted of a bunch of felonies in New Zealand, a real estate scam. Last year it came out from a great video by Scott Carney. Shout out to him. The founder and former CEO of Athletic Greens was convicted of a real estate scam in New Zealand and fled the country. Oops. So shout out to Scott Carney for doing the research there and doing real journalism, because there were some high stakes involved. Lawyers got involved. Athletic Greens is a big company. They had a big law firm behind them. So shout out to Scott Carney for doing God's work. I talked about why you've seen Athletic Greens on a million different podcasts over the years, though it does seem like they've kind of been cutting down on that in the last year or two. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just the things that I've been consuming. I've noticed less of that. I think it's fair to say we've all seen a lot of AG1 ads. Another thing that I think is kind of interesting, a little birdie told me. I want to be clear about this. I don't know that this is across all of their deals with podcasts or creators or how exactly that works. But what I do know is that at least in some cases, when Athletic Greens pays a podcast or a creator to talk about AG1, they also make them sign an exclusive agreement so that that podcaster or creator is not allowed to talk about any other supplements on their channel while they have the deal with AG1. I think that's a little interesting. Make up your own mind. I think it's interesting that Athletic Greens had a strategy of going around and getting people to promote the product and then making sure they couldn't talk about any other dietary supplement products. I don't know if that has to do with maybe scale of channel or if that was just like a policy across all of the deals. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Now here's the concept of AG1. What if a single drink can meet all of your health needs? Sound too good to be true? Because it is. No, for real. That's kind of how AG1 positioned itself from the beginning, was an all-in-one health drink. The product is made up of several blends, proprietary blends, which we will definitely get more and more into in future videos, specifically about proprietary blends. Are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Is it a little more nuanced than that? We'll get into it, but let's dive into the proprietary blends that exist in AG1. So blend number one, which is the raw superfood complex, which is about 7 grams worth of material. So not bad at face value, but let's look at the supplement fact panel, dive into that a little bit more and look at the ingredients. They are listed from greatest input to least input. That's how you are required to list these in a proprietary blend, so that the earlier they show up in a list, the more of that is in there relative to the other ingredients. So you don't know exact amounts, but in general, greatest to least. Ingredient number one in the first proprietary blend, organic spirulina. That's actually a good one. That is a very nutrient-dense ingredient. Spirulina has a lot of good research out there about it. A solid ingredient. Ingredient number two, lecithin. That one's a little weird to me to put in there, especially next up after spirulina. Now, when you look closer at this, they specify a little bit more about what that is. There are different forms of lecithin. Sometimes it's used as an agent to instantize things. The particular kind that they use in this product is to generate choline in the brain, which is good. I think it's a bit of an odd choice to have in your raw food greens blend. That's me personally. That's my opinion. The cynic in me would think, I wonder if they put that in there to help balance out the taste of spirulina, since spirulina is the first ingredient and then this is the second one. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, are they putting that in there and they're saying it's for choline, but really it's to make it not taste as bad. Third ingredient, apple powder. And again, nothing wrong with apple powder, but when I look at a blend like this, I'm going, okay, they put that in there because it's relatively cheap. It's going to make it taste better. And when you've got spirulina, again, as the first ingredient, it's going to taste really bad. Spirulina has a very distinct odor and taste to it, and it is kind of pungent. But as you look through the rest of the ingredients, all the usual suspects that you would see in a greens product or a greens blend. No idea how much is in there. Likely not very much of all of the rest of these. Likely it's going to be made up of those first 3 ingredients is my educated guess on that. But that's a big point, really a marketing point that's really been driven home by Athletic Greens is we've got over 70 ingredients in this one product. Well, yeah, but actually over 40 of the ingredients, we have no idea of the amount that is in there. We have no idea. Because when they're in proprietary blends, you do not know. We can figure out some parts of it. We're going to get into this next blend where we can kind of figure out the protein and how much is making that up. But you've got over 70 ingredients, which sounds impressive. But when you realize that over 40 of those ingredients, we have no idea how much is in there, they're not legally required to declare that, that's suspect. Proprietary blend number 2, nutrient-dense extracts, herbs, and antioxidants. Here's a bunch of bull. There's just under 3 grams here in this blend, about 2.7 grams here. So let's look at the ingredients now that we know greatest to least is how those are listed. Ingredient number 1, pea protein. What? Why? Fine, but not something that I would expect in this blend of nutrient-dense extracts, herbs, and antioxidants. That's a bit of a weird one. That's a red flag to me. So let's see if we can figure out how much they're using. As we already discussed, it's got about 2.7 grams in there of the entire blend here. But let's look a little bit higher on the nutrition panel and look at protein. So the nutrition panel shows 2 grams of protein per serving. So the pea protein, which is 80% protein. So you put in 100 grams, you get typically 80 grams of protein. That's what I mean when I say 80% protein by weight. The pea protein, which is cheap, so the pea protein likely makes up most of this blend when we're seeing 2 grams of protein on the nutrition fact panel. And the entire blend is only 2.7 grams. So therefore, I'm not the best at math, but I can do the math there that most of that is going to be made up of the pea protein. Everything else is going to be fairy dust. Fugazi. It's bull. I also find it funny that stevia is in this blend. Since when is stevia a nutrient-dense extract? It makes no sense to me. Stevia is a sweetening agent. It makes no sense to me why it would be in this blend. But really, stevia is in there to make it a little bit sweeter. Then we come to the digestive enzyme and super mushroom complex. Yeah, there's nothing here. This is 154 milligrams total. That's like a pinky nail worth of material. In other words, it's not doing much. And it's on there to look impressive. All right, then we go to the dairy-free probiotics. That's fine. Fine number, solid probiotics. There's nothing to pick apart here on the probiotics. A couple solid strains. They work, they're effective, they're dosed appropriately. But you can also buy these in capsule form for a lot less, as opposed to being heavily touted here with the product. So again, not a bad thing, but if you want those 2 probiotics, you can get those for really cheap. Those make up the proprietary blends. Let's look at the other ingredients. Okay, did not know they use natural flavors. That was a surprise. My guess is, having been on the formulation side, they are listing natural flavors. I doubt there's actual flavor in there. Most likely it's bitter blocker, just based on the ingredient list here. For sure, we're going to be talking a lot about natural flavors coming up on future videos. They get demonized and a little too much hate, in my opinion. I think that the hate has really been overblown with natural flavors, but not the point of this video. We'll get into that with future videos. But I do think it's interesting that they have natural flavors in here. Like I said, when I look at that, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably bitter blocker. You've got some bitter ingredients in there. Bitter blocker is considered a natural flavor, and it helps trick the tongue into not tasting the bitterness. That's really all it is. So bottom line, is AG1 worth it? No. Is AG1 worth $100? No. Absolutely not. Why? It is underdosed. It is not meeting all of your needs. Notice the packaging says comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition, which is worded really carefully. What you write on packaging is considered a claim by the FDA. So you're held liable for what you put on the packaging, which is why that is a carefully worded statement by lawyers to make sure they're not going to get in trouble for saying that. In reality, we know that when we're talking to each other and someone brings up a product like this, like I know I've heard in the past when people talked about AG1, oh, you get everything you need in a single drink. Well, no, that's not true. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, is it dangerous? No, I don't think it's dangerous. Now, is it overpriced and overhyped? Absolutely. There are better greens formulas out there than this for a lot cheaper price. That will actually be another video that I do in the future where we will look at other greens products and other popular brands, maybe some less popular brands. We'll take a look at those to review those to show other products that are out there on the market. It's not just AG1. They've just done an incredible job at marketing to everybody, as we've already talked about. There's better greens formulas. There's better stuff out there than this at a cheaper price point. They need to charge so much money because they are spending so much money marketing this to all of us, which shouldn't be surprising considering the founder and the history there. Bottom line, is AG1 worth it or worthless? Worthless. That's my opinion. I've actually never drank this before. I've only ever looked at the formula and wasn't impressed, so I never tried it. I ordered some so that I can give my opinion here. Literally never tasted this before. I'm kind of curious to see what it tastes like. Looking at the ingredients, I'm not expecting it to be incredible. Let's see. I mixed this up before I recorded. It's nice and foamy, just what you want out of your unflavored green supplement, nice and foamy. Here we go. Okay, not bad. I mean, for a greens formula, that's about what I expect. I definitely taste the stevia. After tasting that may have changed my opinion on whether they are using natural flavor or not. It might not just be bitter blocker. I don't know. There might be some vanilla in there, some vanilla flavor. Ugh, that is quite the aftertaste though. Peppery. The first sip wasn't too bad. The second sip is not going down quite as easy. I mixed it in 10 ounces of water. I mean, it's a green supplement, right? You're taking a green supplement because you're probably not getting enough greens in your diet naturally. Standard American diet is not great at providing greens. I know mine is not. I could do a lot better. You know, you can understand why some of them wouldn't taste amazing, especially with people who don't want natural flavors. Then it's really not going to taste amazing. But bottom line, there's better stuff out there. And yeah, I'm definitely tasting that spirulina. So what'd you think? Have you tried AG1? Have you tried other green supplements? If so, tell me, what did you think of AG1? What did you think of the other supplements you've tried? Have you noticed a difference? Do you feel healthier? Because that's kind of what we're getting at, right? The goal is to consume more greens because we know we need to. We know it's good for us. If you have a favorite green supplement, leave that in the comments. Let me know. Have you tried AG1? Are you going to after you've seen this, or have I convinced you otherwise? Athletic Greens, please don't sue me. These are just my opinions. I'm reviewing this independently to give bottom line information to the masses. You have lots of money. Your company's been a very big success. Your founder is not going to have to work again. From an entrepreneurial standpoint, you've done very well. From a marketing standpoint, you've done very well. I'm just not a big fan of the product. That's my opinion. My name is Jake. Thanks for checking out this video on Athletic Greens AG1. We will see you next time.